What's up everyone, Aphrodite back with a brand new video, and today I'm going to be trying to do something a little bit different. I know I don't usually make commentary content, but hey, there's a first time for everything, and now is my first time to do this. For those of you guys who don't know who I am, I'm Aphrodite. I'm an alien DJ Vtuber who was nominated for the Black Vtuber Awards, and I just kind of wanted to give my inside perspective on everything, like the hellstorm that is the Black Vtuber Award Twitter discussion and everything, and just kind of give my 2 cents, because people apparently live for my opinions, so I just wanted to do that. The Black Vtuber Awards was supposed to be an award show that would highlight the black talent in the community, because oftentimes black VTubers don't feel like they have a place in the community. Black VTuber community is very niche. It's very a niche of a niche of a niche. And basically what the event was supposed to do was bridge the gap and show like, hey, VTuber community, there are black people who are doing cool things. That's what the event was supposed to do. But after the award ceremonies, people kind of had their own grievances with it, such as acceptance art being whitewashed, people spending a long time editing videos to showcase themselves only for it to be sped up, me included. The host of the show used some unsavory toggles, maybe, to put that a little bit lightly, and just the overall kind of vibe of the show was very unprofessional, as that seems to be the common consensus on Twitter. And people, of course, after the show went to Twitter to air out their frustrations, and this is how we got to where we are today. Off rip, before I get into this thing, I feel like I need to make a point. Oftentimes, even from, like, not behind the screen, just in general, black people are usually very tone policed. So you can be very passionate about something, but if you're black and you're passionate, off rip, people are gonna think that you're being aggressive. That's something that a lot of very outspoken black people have to deal with. So if you're not black, you might not know about what that feels like, and it can cause a lot of frustration when airing your opinion, to say the least. I've often been labeled as an angry, loud black woman just because I'm excited or passionate about something. It gets a little irritating after a while. Like, it starts to wear on your patience. But in this discussion, there seems to be a lot of confusion between what criticism is and harassment. First of all, before I talk about constructive criticism and all of that junk, I just want to say some people were genuinely out of line. Like, they picked the wrong time and place to be really rude and nasty. I saw people were questioning whether or not Aphrodite, who was the host of the Black Vtuber Awards, was black enough to host the awards. None of that was constructive. And I also saw like non-black people doing this too, where they were like, oh, is she even black? Is she even black enough? Who's talking about that? That genuinely derails the conversation. That's not what we're talking about. There's so much other, like, genuine stuff that we could be talking about. So for you to put your energy into that and derail the conversation and to make that a point that people could potentially focus on as opposed to what the general actual consensus is insane. It is insane. Or people sending death threats and just being generally very, very nasty. That's not criticism. That's you acting like a certain animal that I cannot say on YouTube if I would like my channel to still be here. Okay? That's you acting like that and fucking up for the rest of us. That's really what it comes down to. That is not criticism. You not liking something and using that as a vice to just be genuinely nasty to people, that's not criticism. That's you taking out your disdain for life on somebody who happened to make a mistake and making it their problem. That's not their problem. That's your problem. Do not trauma dump, and do not put your anger, just general anger for life, on somebody else. This is not your situation to make somebody feel bad. That's not criticism. That's not criticism at all. I am so tired of the two things being misconstrued. That's not criticism. That's you being a musty, dusty, crusty bitch. That's what that is. But on the flip side of that, I did see a lot of genuine positive criticism that, while yes, it might not have been given in DMs, a lot of people who aren't mutuals with Aphrodite may have gotten the impression that they couldn't have DM'd her. There's not really that established connection, especially since there wasn't really much discourse between Aphrodite and the community when the Black Vtuber Awards were coming to be a thing. So I can understand why people would kind of gone to Twitter and gone to spaces and made threads about their feelings, but I feel like they're well within their right to. As long as they're respective, I don't feel like people are supposed to, just because it's criticism, it has to be in DMs. If it's something about you personally, then yeah, take it to DMs. But if you're genuinely making criticism that is constructive and well-mannered, there's no need for that to be private. In fact, the fact that you air your criticisms publicly will just empower other people to do the same thing in a respective manner if done properly. I feel like starting a discourse in a proper, well-mannered way is harmless. I feel like that's fine. That's not really an issue. Everybody who has something negative to say, but, is delivering it in a proper way, that is not harassment. Just because you tried to do something nice for people and a lot of people have issues with the way that you did it, that's not harassment. Focus that on the people who are genuinely harassing, but to generalize the entire community and be like, oh, the whole black VTuber community was up in arms and those people were like, no. And even if you don't directly say, and I'm so tired of people saying this, even if you don't directly say the entire black VTuber community is cooked or whatever brain rotted lingo you want to use to say that, the way in which you speak about the information is going to carry a narrative. And everybody who is hip to the game of giving your opinion, they know this. This isn't anything that's like new. They know this. They know that if you say that, I saw a lot of people doing this, I saw a lot of people doing that, they're going to generalize. And if you're speaking for a community or a representative of a community, it can be irresponsible if your wording makes it seem like everybody who is disgruntled with the thing that you're trying to defend with your life for some reason, you're not helping. You're pushing us back even further. Because them people who are getting validation from you putting your own community down, they don't like you either. They like the fact that you reaffirm what it is that they don't like about the community because you don't like it either, but they don't like you. Do not take that welcoming as a sense that you're one of them, because you're not and you never will be. You're supposed to be helping your community. Like, that's just what it comes down to. I feel like by generalizing the entire black VTuber community in a backhanded way, it's racist, because you don't want people to see one person and generalize the entire community when it comes to police brutality or anything like that. Like, you see crime or something on TV and God forbid somebody of a different race sees a black person acting like that and be like, oh, all you people are like this. You'll be like, whoa, hold on, no, we're not all like this. However, you see somebody like saying something uncouth and off rip really terrible to people on Twitter, and then your first idea is to be like, oh, this is why I hate this community, I can't do You're doing the same thing we're fighting against. You're not on our side. You're just not on our side. That makes me so angry. This all leads me to my next point. Just because you like somebody and they are your friend or your moody patootie, that does not mean that you have to agree with absolutely everything that they do. It is your job as their friend to hold them properly accountable and not make it seem like everything is okay. A lot of times on Twitter, on both sides of this argument, people who do like the Black VTuber Wars and people who don't do this thing where they just love the ass kiss. They love it. They eat it up. They can't ever be wrong, or their friends can't ever be wrong. They can't ever sit to see somebody else's point of view. Both y'all are wrong. And I didn't really particularly care for the Black VTuber Wars, but both sides are wrong. Both sides are going about this the wrong way. They see, oh, this person did this, so I'm gonna cut context and make them seem bad. On both sides, I said, no. Oh, that's my mutual. That's my moody patootie. No. Grow up. Please grow up. Please grow up. You are able to hold people accountable even if you like them. In fact, if you really like them, you need to be holding them accountable so that they'll be a better person. Sometimes you need that outsider perspective to know when something is wrong. You need to do that as a friend. Like, you really need to do that. If you genuinely care about that person, you need to do that. Like, you need to do that. Mischaracterizing like statements or screenshots or anything like that just to fit a narrative of your Oshi or bestie or anything like that, it's not a good look. Because 9 times out of 10, that shit backfires in the end. I am just being for real. 9 times out of 10, that shit backfires. There's no need to do it. If you can't present information in a clear, unbiased way that's not clearly you cutting corners and whatever, don't do it. Don't do it. And it seems like it's targeted towards one particular person. It's not. Because I've seen a lot of people on both sides taking things out of context and, well, trying to slander people's character. It just... Stop. Aren't you tired? Aren't you exhausted? Come on now. But then with all of that, people also need to be mature and recognize their own faults in their logic. Just because you believe something to be right, you can also be wrong. And being a mature person who is able to handle the ability to speak and have freedom of speech and express their thoughts and opinions, if you're gonna do that safely, you need to be able to admit when you're wrong. Like, sometimes I drop the ball. Sometimes I fuck up. Like, it happens. We're human. But if you, in your right mind, cannot acknowledge when it is that you have fucked up, it dehumanizes you. Because a lot of times people talk about celebrities or popular VTubers and be like, oh, they're not real, they're not down to earth, because they don't talk about the bad. If you really want to not be that you run your mouth about, if you don't want to be that, you need to start owning up to your mistakes. Period. That's what makes us human. If you don't want to be some AI VTuber who nobody fuck with you, nobody care about who you are behind the screen, you need to man the fuck up, is what you need to do. And admit when you're wrong. And not just start deleting tweets or ignoring stuff or whatever. If you're so brazen and bold to put your opinion out there in the first place, you need to be as brazen, as bold, and put that apology out there and be like, I got it wrong. I dropped the ball. I'm sorry. Whatever people do with your opinion and your apology is up to them. But at least you're man enough, you're a woman enough, you're whatever. You're a human enough to be like, yo, I fucked up. I'm a good person. I fucked up. I dropped the ball. I fucked up. The wool was pulled over my eyes. I'm sorry. You need to be able to do that. I'm so sorry. And on the topic of vocalizing when you make a mistake or vocalizing anything, Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces are very popular in the Black VTuber community. I feel like it's a great place for people to voice their grievances when something happens in the community that they don't like, and it builds a sense of community where people can be like, oh, other people feel like this. I want to talk about it too. And not everybody's good at texting. People's grammar are not exactly the best at times when it comes to texting, or typos can kind of take you out of what it is that they're saying. So just being able to hear them as a person and hear what they have to say live in a live back and forth dialogue, I think it's a very useful tool. However, if people spend these spaces repeating the same things over and over again, I feel like that kind of takes away from how productive it is. However, if it's a sense where if it's a situation where, like in my case, I was in one of the Black VTuber spaces, the one with Naomi, I missed the other Black VTuber space because I was asleep when it happened. So I woke up and I was like, oh, I want to talk to people. So other people might have seen that space and thought that we were just like rehashing everything, but I genuinely hadn't had a chance to speak. That's different. That's a different situation. I'm talking about the same people going to the same spaces, saying the same stuff over and over again. You're not furthering the conversation. You're just angry. Please talk to a therapist. Do not talk to a Twitter space. Do not derail the conversation. Do not make it about you. Do not make it about your anger. It's not about you. Period. Point blank period. Get out of here, please. It's not constructive. You're making all of us look bad. As you can see, people cannot separate passion from ignorance or anything like that. So please stop doing shit that can be misconstrued. You're really fucking up the vision. Come on now. And if not done properly, I feel like Twitter spaces can be echo chambers for bullshit sometimes, especially if people don't call out the bullshit. I don't know. Twitter spaces are good when done properly, but bad when done non-properly. But that's with just about anything in this community. So that's not really something that's exclusive to Twitter spaces. Moving forward, I don't think there should be a Black VTuber award thing next year. I really don't. I feel like next year it's going to be some sort of repeat of this year. Of course, things will get better. I'm not saying that, but I just don't think that it's worth it. I feel like within the community, people should come up and make showcases or other little events that kind of bring us together. But for where the Black VTuber community is right now, I don't think we can handle another award show. I think we need to work on building community and talking amongst ourselves and building up that strength and community, and then we can celebrate who's doing what and whatever. But when the community feels small and we're already so jaded and disjointed as it is, I don't think it's a good idea for the climate of the community. I really don't. Maybe things will be different next year. I really doubt it, but I feel like the Black VTuber community needs a chance to heal and really figure out what it is that they want before we can start praising people's numbers and having a popularity contest, because clearly we can't handle it. Clearly we can't handle it. Some people say, oh, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that. Clearly, like, of course you can just label that as jealousy, but as to where the Black VTuber community is now, we can't handle another thing like this. We need showcases, I think. We need showcases and we need representation. We just want people to know that we're here. It doesn't have to be a competition. Everyone can be equal, and you know, it really doesn't have to be that big of a deal. But that's just my personal opinion. In closing, I'm gonna say this. Please stop harassing people. It's muddying up whatever you're trying to, whatever point you're trying to make. It's really muddying it up. Please stop harassing people. Grow some balls, grow a spine, please. Please. That's really all I gotta say. I hope you guys liked the video. If you guys liked hearing what I had to say, I'll do more commentary stuff like this in the future or whatever. I'll see y'all on Twitter.